Hi, everybody. Welcome to this fireside chat with WhaleRoom. I'm joined today by Paul Adrien from WhaleRoom. My name is Kevin Murcko, in case you don't know that. Name's right below as well, in case you forget. I'm the CEO here at Coinmetro. We like to do these, we can call them AMAs, we can call them fireside chats with some of our partners. We don't call them listings, but call them partners because we like to do things with these companies. So quick intro about myself. As I said, I'm the CEO of Coinmetro. We've been in business. Well, Coinmetro's been in business about 5 years now, almost 5 years. And we like to list really cool stuff. And we think WhaleRoom was definitely on that list. And that's why we listed them. So Paul, please introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Yeah, hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me here. Pleasure to be here. Big fan of what you guys are doing at Coinmetro. So quick intro, my name is Paul Adrien. My nickname is PA. I am French, as you can tell by my accent. Have a background in sort of traditional corporate world, did some research for private equities for a couple of years. Always been a big fan of new technologies and blockchain. And when Chris, my co-founder, pitched me WhaleRoom last year, at the beginning of last year, I loved the idea. I think it was a problem to be solved in the industry. And that's how it started. And now we're here.
Awesome. All right. So I guess there's an easy question, the elephant in the room, really. The first question that everybody gets asked, what is WhaleRoom? What do you guys do at WhaleRoom?
Yeah, great question. And WhaleRoom does a lot of different things. Essentially, from a very high level, we're trying to improve communication in Web3. So maybe just to give a bit of context as to how WhaleRoom saw the light and what was the idea behind it. Chris and I, we used to look at many different crypto projects, exciting projects, and we wanted to discuss those projects with different communities. And usually the platform to do so, which can be Telegram or Discord, are a great platform, but they were not just built for that purpose. They were not built for tokenized communities or crypto projects. And so obviously the conversion won't be optimal. But on top of that, often in those different platforms, you would have spams, you would have scams, and it would also be hard to tell who is here for what. Some people would be there for their own agendas. Some people would pretend to be part of the project, even though they don't own any. And so our initial idea was to build a chat for ourselves when we could discuss with other holders of specific projects. So in other words, it would have been token gated for a variety of crypto projects. And you know that the people in the conversation have skins in the game and are here for the good reasons to just discuss the project and have a good conversation about it. So that was sort of how it started. We got quite a lot of traction in the beginning, a lot of positive feedback. And we were like, okay, so let's do maybe something more with this. Let's take it to the next step, which became an actual company, WhaleRoom. And instead of just doing that for ourselves, it became something we did for a bunch of crypto projects that wanted a better platform to discuss with their holders, to discuss with their community, and make the most of it. Fast forward a year later, and now we serve a variety of customers, whether they are individual token creators, DAOs, crypto projects, but also enterprise that want to leverage the power of Web3 through NFT ticketings, NFT memberships. And overall, I think the keywords to remember with WhaleRoom is token gating or NFT gating. That's how it started. And we think that gating a community is a great way to make the most of its member and its holders and prioritize them for feedback and support.
Okay. I like the term token gating. So I've been saying since, I don't know, at least publicly since like 2017, that I think at some point all companies will tokenize themselves. There's a variety of reasons because of that. Historically, I would say most companies have gone through the tokenization route to reduce cost of capital. And that's a really nice way of saying raise money and do it cheaply. But there's also a myriad of other reasons why companies may tokenize themselves. And I think that's what, when I first saw WhaleRoom, this kind of token gating concept made a lot of sense to me. We've gotten a lot of questions because recently, we've been on Telegram since, the beginning, just like everybody else in crypto. That's where everybody went initially. And yeah, there's about 455 fake Kevins floating around Telegram. And there's Kevin Murcko 1, 2, 3, 75, whatever. And a lot of scams, etc. Really hard to kind of filter out all that stuff. We made not a move, but we added in a Discord community, which, you have to link to your account. And so it's not token gated, but it's kind of, off to gated or something like, whatever. It's in some way you have to be connected to Coinmetro to get in there. That's definitely reduced But now we've been asked, well, we've been asked in Coinmetro, well, why WhaleRoom? Why is token gating so much different? So I guess for our own community, for Coinmetro's community, what do you see in terms of how token gating and the WhaleRoom concept can benefit, Coinmetro and its community specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. And by the way, I've also been impersonated quite a few times on Telegram. So did my co-founder, and he also spoke to me. And once I thought I was speaking with him for a while.
I had a fake Kevin try to scam me.
That's pretty good.
So,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think there are ways to token gate existing platform, token gate Discord channels using bots, and those are working and they're useful. But again, I think the core issue is that those platforms were not built to serve crypto community in the first place. So they're just trying to make the best out of an existing platform, which is in the beginning not built for that purpose. And that's where we're different. We built WhaleRoom from scratch only to serve tokenized communities and crypto communities. And so that translates by a lot of different features built in, such as login with the wallet. So you don't need to put your email or anything. You log in with your crypto wallet. You can also connect multiple wallets if you have a token on Binance, MetaMask, Ledger, and so on. We have anti-spam measure built in because that's a big complaint from our customers and other users, that especially when it's going to be people that are not necessarily Web3 native and they want to learn about a great project and they join the Discord community and then they get spam and it's just a very bad first impression. And it's a shame because sometimes they're going to have ideas or misconception about what the crypto world is, and then they try to get into it and it's like they confirm their bias in a way, which is a shame, I find. So login with the wallet, anti-spam measure built-in, in-app social analytics, on-chain aggregators. So a short answer would be we're just optimal for tokenized communities so that it really can make the most of the platform and the Web3 world.
And the name's a lot cooler, to be honest. I mean, if you're in crypto, WhaleRoom sounds a lot cooler than Discord or Telegram. To be honest.
And again, we love those platforms as well, and we don't necessarily tell our clients to shut down their Discord or shut down Telegram because there are some users that's going to discover their project through those platforms. They're just, I think, not optimal. And we're talking about rebuilding the world. You were mentioning that most companies are going to get tokenized, which I believe as well, if not all companies. So why would we use a platform that wasn't built for that purpose? To me, there is kind of something that doesn't make sense there, and that's where
I think there's benefits in all those kind of community-driven products. Just like you have a Twitter, but you probably also have an Instagram, a Facebook, or whatever. You don't, people, especially as a business, you need to kind of have a connection to all those different communities. It makes sense, and they're all good for different reasons. Sometimes they're bad for different reasons, but there's a reason to be on all of them. It's just, and I think it's kind of similar here. If you look, I don't know, it's when it comes to tech, I guess, because we got that question as well, like, well, can't you just do the same thing on some other platform? I said, yeah, but to me, at least when I've seen like progression of tech over the years, let's say tech starts with the first product, and it's product A, and then somebody else comes out with a product B, there's product C, et cetera. And then product A can do probably pretty easily what product D or E or F does, but it doesn't do it natively, right? So, because it doesn't do it natively, it's not the same experience. And since they didn't start it, they're not going to be as successful with it. So while they can add the feature, they're not known for the feature. Thus, that other company or other product becomes more well-known for that specific feature, like token gating in this instance. That's pretty cool. So what about new developments coming in I guess Q2 now, Q3, Q4? What do you guys have on the roadmap that's interesting and exciting?
Yes, we have quite a few things. So good thing to note is that we are blockchain agnostic. So far we support NFT and tokens that are built on Ethereum, Binance, Hathor, Polygon, and over time we want to integrate all the leading blockchain. So you're going to see more integration throughout the year. We also have exciting white label cases coming up. So when I say white label, those are enterprise, is through the division of our company called Sentry, a very new division that we just announced. We're going to have a few blog articles to detail more on what it is. But essentially, those are enterprise that can be Web3 or Web2 based. and I want to leverage the power of token gating technologies. So a good example is a company called AI Forum. We love their use case. They are a research, an artificial intelligence research firm based out of London, so AI firm. And essentially, they're going to release an NFT collection. And if you are a holder, you can access exclusive reports that they do on AI research. You can discuss with other holders. And all of this is going to be hosted on WhaleRoom and then down the line on their own platform and also migrated within their blockchain. So a super interesting use case, and we have more of this coming. So how we use everything we build at WhaleRoom to tailor it to the needs of specific companies. That's something we're really excited about, the ability to provide tailored experience to the different needs of tokenized communities. And there are many projects I can't talk about yet, but very exciting into NFT ticketings and NFT memberships. So those are some of the application. We have additional features coming up on WhaleRoom, as well as a new UX coming up. We have also audio lounges. So that's the ability to discuss as in Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces, but with the added ability of token gating, as well as other features to make it more appropriate for Web3 communities.
Very cool. Very cool. You know what I think about every time I hear Web3? I never heard anybody say Web2. Was that a thing?
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
I never Web1 either, just kind of we got to Web3 and I'm not really sure how we got there.
It's a little bit like before crypto, we didn't say fiat money, Now we say fiat money.
yeah, exactly. And even people not in crypto now somehow probably don't know what that word means, but at least know what it refers to.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, if you don't know what that means, it's by decree. So, giving value to something because somebody says it has value. Mm-hmm. That's what fiat means. For those of people who are watching who have heard it a million times and had no idea what it meant. So you mentioned I've actually seen on a few, because I go to a lot of events. In fact, I hope I'll be in Miami next week for Bitcoin 2022 and a couple other events going through April. And I see that WhaleRoom's, and I see the name pop up at different events as well. So you mentioned something about London in your last comment, and so it seems like, and Web3, obviously the community there's a big Web3 community in London, that's for sure. So if anybody that's watching maybe wants to kind of get up close and personal with some of you guys from WhaleRoom, are there some events you guys are going to be attending, or where you will be or planning to be in the coming months?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it was so refreshing to attend in-person events, especially after the 2 years of COVID and everything was mostly virtual. And I'm just amazed and humbled by the community here in London. There are so many events, some of which where we had the chance to speak at, such as Web3 London and Champion of Blockchains, as well as a couple of others. And there is a weekly meetups, one called Mondao and one called Tuesday, which are focused on Web3 builders.
Is that on Monday and Tuesday?
Yes, exactly. Good guess. And there's also other day of the week for the people who would like to create more events here in London.
Yeah.
But
Wednesday. I'm going to create Wednesday in London.
There's also food though. There are plenty of them. But it's just very, very humbled by the people joining. So we have everything in those meetups, from freelance developers, founders, VCs. We also have students with keen interest in Web3. Everyone is so driven. And it was so fascinating to see so many people that were working in management consultancies, like the top management consultancies, or private equities, the top private equities. And they dropped their job to jump into Web3 and talk with a bunch of degenerates. And to me, that was like, I'm like, wow, like this is like, I know that Web3 is only taking off, but seeing it in person, meeting those people that are so bright, it's also a proof that's like, okay, something is really happening here, because if those people are leaving everything they were working on to jump into Web3, to me, it means something. So if you're in London, please reach out to me. I can give you some details about those events. We have a nice bar now that it's privatized every Tuesday for Tuesday, and we have a lot of different initiatives coming up. So would be a pleasure to connect. I'm also going to be in Lisbon, and I'm speaking at NFT Tallinn. So that all of that is next week. And unfortunately, cannot make it to Bitcoin Miami this year because I had other commitments with other conferences, but for sure next year.
Yeah, I was invited to NFT Talent as well. I'm based in Talent, so it's right down the street. But yeah, unfortunately, ended up heading towards Miami this year. But maybe NFT Talent next year would have been nice to meet up. Paul, would have been nice to meet up. I didn't know you guys
Absolutely.
were coming to NFT Talent, but I heard it's gonna be a good event. There's a lot of good people on the roster. I think it'll be fun. And have you been to Talent before, by the way, or Estonia?
Never. It's been my
No.
first time, so I'm very excited.
It's a unique little place, and I say little because it's small. But it's
Okay.
still very unique. It's got everything you need in a big city, but it's kind of like the size of a really small town. So it's got a unique dynamic.
It's going to be a nice change from London and the hectic city here and the 1 hour transportation to go anywhere.
Absolutely, and they just lift restrictions, so it's a lot easier to move around here than it was, just a few weeks ago. Well, London lifted restrictions a while ago, so now you're getting used to almost normal life, I guess, again. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So since we are Coinmetro, we are an exchange. We did list the WhaleRoom token, and we talked about token gating and tokenization. So how does the WhaleRoom token how does it fit into your own ecosystem? How can tell us a bit more about the tokenomics around the token for those that aren't familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. So the social token gives you a lot of different perks within the app. It was how we built the WhaleRoom community at the beginning. We launched this token, got quite a bit of traction by people just telling us that the idea behind the project was very exciting. I guess one of the most direct benefit it gives you is access to token gated room within WhaleRoom. It's like a use case for our own platform. Depending on how many WhaleRoom token you hold, you have access to different room levels. And in those rooms, you can discuss the next feature we're going to release, give feedback, help us shape the vision and the strategy for WhaleRoom. And it's been so helpful to have this community in those rooms helping us shape WhaleRoom and what we want to achieve. You also have extra perks within the app. So the social token is made for the people that want to make full advantage and take full experience, leverage all the features within WhaleRoom. You can find on our website a link to the different tiers and all the different specific features, but some of them also include exclusive reports, rewrite about Web3, and the opportunity in the token getting space. So the short answer would be that it's the best way to get involved with the project, participate in its governance to some degree, and access exclusive perks and social spaces.
But let's say there's somebody in the audience right now that wants to utilize WhaleRoom but doesn't have a token. Can they gate their room with the WhaleRoom token rather than using their own, or can you guys create a token for them? Because obviously we have a lot of crypto people in our community, but we also have people that just own businesses, right? That obviously could still benefit from all these great services and use cases.
Yeah, great question. So the first thing I'd say is that anyone can join our platform without having any token. Some rooms are not token gated. If you just want to see the feeder, the responsiveness, the UX, we still like to call it our beta because we have so much more coming up, but you can see at least how functional it is. And then if someone wants to token gate a room, we can consult with the token creation because some of our clients, they don't know a lot about the Web3 world, tokenization. They don't really know where to start. Should they do a token? Should they do an NFT? What chain? For what reasons? We had cases where people wanted to create an NFT collection as a membership, but the price of the NFT would be like the price of the gas fee would be higher than the NFT. So Ethereum might not be the best chain for this case. So there's a lot of different cases, but essentially you would need a token to token gate your space. Well, actually, we also had cases where people opened a room on WhaleRoom without their token just to bring their community and token gated the room later on. So that's also a possibility. But the token can be an individual creator. So it can be someone that's an artist or a talent that tokenize their community through a token or an NFT. It can be a DAO, or it can be an organization that hasn't created their token or NFT yet and then comes to WhaleRoom to have some consulting and then launch their own NFT and token to then gate their room according to their preferences. Some people like to do different tiers, maybe a room more accessible for any holders, and a room reserved for the heavy holders to prioritize them for feedback, support, and governance. And it's very easy for someone to do so. If you have already a contract address, that's what we've built. We've built the ability in a few clicks to be able to come to WhaleRoom, tell us about how you want to token gate it, how you want to do the gamification, and then have a room set up. And for enterprise use cases, what we love to do is also tailored offer. So we can really token gate according to your preferences, integrate within your website. We also have a mobile on iOS and Android, so that helps also for user adoption. So you would not get it with our token. Just to answer your question, you would get it with your token or the token of a company.
Very cool. So there's a question that I see that popped up on YouTube, which seems interesting given the last conversation. So bonjour. So there you go. A little bit of French. Can you talk about the Hathor support on WhaleRoom? Hathor, for those who don't know, is a platform that allows for easy tokenization.
Yeah, absolutely. So we love Hathor at WhaleRoom because I think it's a chain that has a lot of potential growth for itself and great use cases. We are integrated with the Hathor wallet as well within WhaleRoom natively, and that just allows for creation of token, feeless, very easy creation, especially for Web2 users that are not necessarily too familiar with different mechanisms in Web3, which is a great use case, both for NFT and for tokens. So the Hathor support means that we are natively integrated with their wallets. So if you choose to build on Hathor, WhaleRoom is going to be even more seamless to integrate with.
Awesome. So there you go. If you don't have a token, all you need to do is basically take a look at Hathor and create one really easily, to be honest. We like Hathor as well. Obviously, we listed them, so we must like them. We don't list anything we don't like. Well, actually, that might not be entirely. We listed a few things by popular demand at some point that I can't say I necessarily like. But since then, we haven't listed anything that we don't like here, and Hathor is definitely on that list. So shout out to the guys at Hathor. So Hoo Me Banana, don't pay attention to the name. He asks really good questions. He comes on the AMAs all the time. So what is the tech behind WhaleRoom? Did you build your own blockchain to host these whitelisted? Well, I was going to say whale listed, but whitelisted rooms.
Yeah, great question. So we built everything from scratch with security as the priority behind every core features, and we're still building a lot of coming up features. We are off-chain and supporting many different blockchains, so that's the approach we took. And the technology is our own. We're not using anyone else's technology. Everything is proprietary and unique to WhaleRoom, and we're also patent pending for our technology, and we are very excited about this.
Very cool. Another one from our friend Hoo Me Banana. How do you maintain user privacy at WhaleRoom? As WhaleRoom, how would you maintain user privacy as WhaleRoom will have to check whether the user is holding that specific token, which I assume it's checking through MetaMask or some other wallet connection, as you previously talked about.
Yeah, again, great question from Hoo Me Banana. So something interesting to note with token gating is that some other solutions, they say they token gate, and then you access a chat, a website, whatever it is, and whatever it's token gating through a token count or an NFT. But then if that person sells they transfer the NFT or get rid of their tokens, what happens? They should lose access, but what happens? And so that's something that we also worked on very specifically at WhaleRoom to make sure that if someone transfers their assets and then loses ownership, well, they also lose access pretty much instantly. So that goes through constant API calls. And it's something we're really proud about because we can say, hey, this is token gating live and not just token gating once, which kind of defeat the purpose. And regarding privacy, so it's just a backend magic, if I can say that looks at the different wallets, check that the balance is correct, there is no human involved. And then the users can also connect multiple wallets that we don't see what wallets they connect. It's just all in the backend, and it's just checks that they have the current balance. if they aggregate the different tokens. So to give an example, if the minimum is 100 tokens, X token to join a room, and they have some token on Trezor, some token on Binance, some token on their MetaMask or so on many other platforms, they would have to transfer all of them to the same place, which is not very optimal because there is a cost associated with it. And then for security reason, then if you get hacked your wallet, everything gets hacked. So that's why people like to have different wallets, which is something we are really happy to support. And regarding privacy, so we don't take any information. It's just a wallet that connects. We don't ask for any email or anything. Once you connect your wallet through our web app, you will be prompted to choose an off-chain username and password to log in from mobile devices or iPad or whatever devices you would like. And user privacy is one of our top priorities. So user anonymity and privacy is something at the core value of our platform.
And I imagine that with those API checks, when you're checking to see if that user has that token or still has that token or NFT, well, NFT is still a token, so has that token, you're not storing that information. I would imagine it's a dynamic check, and it checks.
Absolutely.
It's there, and that's it. There's not like some log of, you know, this wallet holds, this wallet's balance sitting somewhere on the server.
Yeah, we're not about like, to us, what matters in a given time. No. Do you have the requirements set by the room host? And if you do, then you can stay in the social space. If you don't, you have to oblige by the room host rules.
Dynamic token gating.
Yes, that's. I just came up with it, but I like it now.
So we got to put this one up there just because you mentioned that everybody heard your accent. So so for the first time, this guy can actually understand English, and not because of me, apparently. So there you go. There's you've got, let's see, give me a second. So sometimes you got to filter some of these. There's a few up there that probably shouldn't post. Isn't 1 million tokens too little? Currently, only 100 addresses can have access to the Apex tier at the same time, and that's without all other tiers.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one thing that I like to remind people here, and that sometimes is not super clear, is that most users on WhaleRoom are not WhaleRoom holders. It's not a requirement at all. Those are for our early adopters or the people that want to leverage the platform the most. For the host, so for the clients, they also automatically get access to the moderator room and the host room, where they can have feedback and support. But to come back to the question, it's on purpose. We didn't want it to have too many people having the Apex tier, because that's something that's for the people that want to support WhaleRoom the most. And again, the WhaleRoom holders within WhaleRoom are sort of a minority. Most holders, most users are not holding WhaleRoom. So I hope that helps and that clarifies. And our goal is to have the holders being the most committed members. It's if you know at the beginning, if you find that we have a social token, it's because you know how to dig, and that's the people who wanted to be the holders and help us govern and shape the future of WhaleRoom.
Very cool. Good question. Good answer. Let's see. We have, we'll go to the, So this is actually, I guess, a little bit of a Coinmetro question, but will Coinmetro use WhaleRoom to open separate chats for the respective XAM tiers at some point? So for example, an exclusive room for, say, tier 3 ICO investors. So the answer to that one from Coinmetro's side is yes. In fact, we've already been in talks about that with WhaleRoom, I think, since day one. So it is something that we're planning to do. It is in the roadmap. I'm not going to tell you when it's in the roadmap, but it is there. It's sitting in the roadmap, ready for that date to hit, so we can actually get this done. But absolutely, that as I've said a million times, you know, we don't list tokens or assets that we don't plan on doing some form of, whether it's integration or building of a product or a service. It's about offering something to that assets community, so bettering their own product, and at the same time bettering our own product and service. And this is definitely something that we plan to do with WhaleRoom. And there's a follow-up question to that. I'll answer that one real quick. So yes, it's on the roadmap, but you're going to have to ask me next Friday on Coinmetro's AMA, and we can talk a bit more about it. But it definitely is on our roadmap. So we talked a bit about a competition already, but in case somebody showed up late, would you consider Discord as your primary competitor?
That's again a good question, and a question I get asked often. There is different way to answer this. Of course, in the long term, we are very ambitious and we want to become the go-to communication platform in Web3. Now, I think Discord, as we don't tell our clients to get rid of their Discord, because Discord is still very used in the Web3 world. That's a platform that's being used to discover project, to exchange. But WhaleRoom is more a place for the core of a community, to offer the holders and the most supportive member a better place to interact, a better place to exchange, to be prioritized for feedback and support. So I would see it as an indirect competitor. If I had to personally qualify it, the answer might differ a bit depending who you ask, because they are, I don't know if we can say they are offering similar services, because it's a combination of Discords and bots and so on. But again, I think Discord was instrumental to help the growth of crypto communities. I just don't think it was optimal, and I don't think it's their fault, because that's not what they were built for. So I don't see them as a direct competitor as much as other companies that are doing token gating as a core features and integrated feature would be more what I would consider direct competitors.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess if they're, I don't know what platform was the original kind of, where you can create groups and chat with lots of people. I can remember like MSN Messenger and ICQ or IQC. Something like, now I don't even remember the name of it. But these I don't even know if they allowed for groups. I guess at some point they probably did. So yeah, I guess Discord, as far as I know, was kind of big with their big claim to fame, or maybe it still is gaming. Yeah, I think that's how they started, right? Was really about gaming. They definitely didn't start because of crypto. Telegram didn't start because of crypto, but now it was at some point between ICO days and like 2020, it became kind of the crypto messaging platform. But now Discord's starting to take some of that market share, and I highly expect WhaleRoom will take a chunk of that market share as well, considering that WhaleRoom is purposefully built for a tokenized world, which is obviously what crypto is, right? It's all about tokenization. So yeah, I think that's we get every company gets asked a similar question. We always, if I sit down with someone, they go, would you consider Binance a competitor? And then I try not to roll my eyes, or make a funny face. Well, no, not really, because Binance does these 3 things, and we do these 6 things, and no, so we wouldn't consider. But obviously, we're an exchange; they're an exchange, so yes, they're a competitor. Same thing here. I think Discord it offers a similar base service, so obviously they're a competitor in some ways. But yeah, I think it's a similar type of response. All right, this is also a question that you tend to get asked a lot. Let's see. Have you considered what happens if Discord offered to buy you out, integrate? I guess I don't know if this is 2 questions. If Discord came with an offer, or they integrated their own crypto token gates, dynamic token gating is, I believe that hopefully that's on the trademark application.
So those are two good points. I'm going to start by the latter, about them integrating their own crypto token gating. So I think that's something they hint about. They did a tweet a few months ago where they were going to integrate, I think it was MetaMask within Discord. So not sure if this would have been necessarily token gating, but I would assume it would have been related to it. Then they got sort of, I think, a little comments from their community saying that to them, Discord shouldn't be focusing on crypto, but stay within what they did initially, which is gaming, and in the core offering. So if you ask me whether over time Discord will integrate a token gating features, I think it's likely. I think it's possible. But I still think that it would be an indirect competition for many reasons. Number one, what does it mean to integrate token gating? Is it just Ethereum like they hinted at? Is it other chain like Hathor that have very specific use cases? And then what they offer is chat, right? So that's great. That's token gating chat, but that's not all we are at all. Token gating chat is just one feature of WhaleRoom. There is so much more we do with it. So many more integration with other partners, audio chats, gamification. and also customization for enterprise clients. So I think if an enterprise client went to Discord and asked them, hey, can you do me a custom token getting experience for Polygon? They might be a bit, well, not really, because they are serving a core community that have very specific needs. And it seems like that community doesn't even want anything to do with crypto at this point. I mean, some of them, of course, do, because Discord is used for many commercial around crypto, but they ended up not integrating the wallet integration yet. And when they do, to me, it's a good thing, because it shows that what we're working on is actually being worked on by massive companies like Discord. You have to understand, when we launched WhaleRoom, the concept of token gating didn't even exist. We launched this, and now if I type token gating on Twitter, it's all over the place. At East Denver, it was one of the main topics being discussed. When we launched over a year ago now, and a year is a long time in the crypto world, it wasn't really a concept. It was a word that wasn't even defined. Proof of ownership, when we started using this word, I don't think it was even used by many people. NFT profile pictures, when we had this idea, it's not something we saw at many places. Now, I'm not saying that people took those ideas or name from us. I think it's totally normal that people have the same idea at the same time. Don't get me wrong here. But all I'm saying is that makes me happy to see that a company like Discord wants to create token gating, because it shows that there is a clear demand. It shows that there is a clear problem. And to us, it just helps us grow, and a bit of competition is very healthy.
Yeah, and I talked about previously this idea that, or this fact, I think, that initially and still even now, a lot of the only real, let's say, true underscoring use case of tokenization is cost of capital, reduction of cost of capital. However, definitely token gating, or the ability to access something by when you hold something, has been a concept, just hasn't really been a defined concept, because most utility tokens have some utility that's sitting in that token, is you can do this, or you can gain access to that by ownership of this token. So cool. You mentioned a very good point, and it has nothing to do with crypto. It's just business in general. But yeah, concept validation. So, when you have a crazy idea, or you think it's a great idea, some people might call it crazy, but when you have a great idea and you're the only one with that great idea, that is not really a good thing. In fact, usually, most times when you have a great idea and no one else has that idea, it's probably not going to work. Because if it was going to work, other people would have the same inclination, like, this would probably be something good. This would work. This would, be a great business. So when another company or institution, especially a major competitor, at least in some aspects, has the same idea that you do, well, that's called concept validation. They're validating the fact that it's a legitimate idea. So that is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I've been through that a couple of times myself. You think, am I barking up the wrong tree? Am I doing something wrong? Does nobody want this service? And all of a sudden, somebody else does it. And you're like, okay, good.
Yeah, no, you're very correct. Yeah. Like, if you have an idea that no one has, there is a tiny probability that you are a genius, very unlikely, or there's just something fundamentally wrong with what you're doing. So.
Yeah, exactly. Or somebody had that idea, tried it, and failed.
Yes.
And then that's why, and you think you're, original. So I have to give a shout out to my 10-year-old daughter, because somehow she found us on YouTube and sent us a hello. So hi, Nilsa, thanks for watching Dad on YouTube. We got at least one viewer, everybody. At least one, Paul. We got one.
One legitimate one. The most important one.
All right. So I think this will be the last question we're going to take from the audience. So, and this is a cool one as well. Any ideas on renting tokens or NFTs through something like IQ protocol? So we won't go into what IQ protocol, what it is, but basically you can rent NFTs. So someone has an NFT, they put it up for rent, you rent it to gain access to whatever service that NFT allows or utility, and you pay a fee, and that fee gives a reward back to the NFT holder as a possible way to take advantage of a gated room community. It's a cool question.
Yeah. I just answered the first part of the question from previously, because I said I would, regarding if what would we do if Discord wanted to buy us out. And so very shortly, it's not up to me, it's also up to our investors. And it would, of course, depend on what they're talking about here. But we are so excited about WhaleRoom and Sentry, and there is so much we're building onto it. That's right now we're just focusing on building and growing, and preparing our next round as well. So that's something. If it comes, it comes, and we'll have to look at it. But our goal is to keep having executive position and build this absolutely amazing industry.
That's a good answer, because if your business is only a year old and the thought of a buy and you have a number for a buyout, you're probably not really passionate about that business. So that was a great answer. So renting tokens, I mean, NFTs are tokens, but tokens or NFTs, is that a concept you guys have been mulling around?
Yes, and even just outside from WhaleRoom, I've had a lot of conversation about renting NFTs. Renting NFT clothes, for example, in the metaverse. I think this is a very interesting point. Renting maybe a Bored Ape to access a company. So that's something we definitely discussed, and that's something that I think is very interesting, because then when you have a powerful NFT, instead of just sitting there, you can actually do something with it, leverage it. And if we can have WhaleRoom and Sentry as platform to make the most out of those concepts of renting an NFT, which I find very exciting, we want to participate in that as well. So I can't give you an accurate answer here, because it is something we discussed, but we're not sure how we would integrate it exactly. But I think it's very exciting, and definitely something we are going to have more discussion about with the team at WhaleRoom.
Amazing. Yeah, I think I also think this kind of renting, leasing, collateralization of non-fungible tokens, considering that most non-fungibles right now are some form of art, and in the art world you can use art as collateral, but it's not easy. It's definitely not an easy process. It's very antiquated, and it's difficult to even find the companies that will actually collateralize or give you, let's say, a loan based on artwork. Especially because the price of artwork, it's a market, but the market is, I'd like to pay this much for that. And someone goes, I would take that much for that. I mean, it's not like there's a matching engine for art, but with NFTs, it's a whole different ballgame. You can get real-time valuations done online, even with like AI, and be able to collateralize. All that stuff is really cool. Anyway, very cool, very cool. Anything you want to mention, Paul, before we hang up our hats today? Anything that you might have wanted to mention and I didn't ask good enough questions to get it out of you?
No, your questions were great. By the way, I love your MAAs. I find that they're always quite funny and also very interesting. And I love your dynamic. And again, I'm very happy to be here. I found that the questions were very good. I do often those online presentation or online conferences, and often we don't really get questions. So it was really nice to see that there were quite a few of them, even one from your daughter. So we're very lucky. I would say, not just as a reminder, now we have Sentry, which is the enterprise division of WhaleRoom, to help enterprise leverage Web3, whether they're already in Web3 or not, through gating experience, to NFT ticketing, NFT membership, token gating, gamification of their tokenized community, and so on. We also offer multiple token gating. By that I mean that you can have a room that has more than one requirement. So you need X amount of this token and X amount of this token, or you need a Bored Ape and a CryptoPunk, or so on. So that's also a cool concept we're working on. A reminder that we have an iOS app and Android app. We're very proud of it, because it was a long process to get those approved, but it worked out. And we are blockchain agnostic. So if you are a token creators, a DAO, an enterprise, a crypto project, book a demo with us. We'll be happy to show you the platform, happy to show you the features that are coming up, and how we want to just improve Web3 messaging and the dynamic between tokenized communities.
Amazing. And stay tuned for XCM gated, dynamically token gated rooms on WhaleRoom. Those are coming. I thank you very much, Paul. Thanks everybody for the great questions. We have, I think we got to, well, we didn't get to all of them because some of them I just didn't want to put on the screen, but we got to all the good ones, I think, hopefully. And yeah, make sure that you track down WhaleRoom, download WhaleRoom, play around with it a bit, contact Paul. Paul, do you have like a Telegram? Or I don't know why I asked something. How can they contact you on WhaleRoom? How do they get to you?
So on the website, on the Sentry website, if you're an enterprise, or WhaleRoom, if you're a user or a crypto project, you can just find our contact information there, directly book a demo. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Paul Adrien. My last name is Lamoureux, Lamoureux. It means the lover in French. Just for information. Or you can just message us on Twitter or the info. I take care of all the comms, so you're likely to talk to me, whatever medium you use.
Awesome. Thanks again, Paul. Thanks for being here. And thanks everybody for the great questions, and see you guys on the next Fireside Chat or AMA, or at some point when you get to see this beautiful face again on YouTube. All right. Thanks everybody. Cheers.
Thank you, Kevin.